morning atmosphere bites deep in our heart. The sun is rising gradually. Its refreshing air is touching the boy's face, looking so fragile, as if he is nothing but a living skeleton. Still, he manages to mesmerize thousands of people. Dry teeth, dry lips, everything is making his face more glowing. But the pang in his heart, a sudden call, broke his little sleep. He phoned and saw the caller ID. Hello, Mom. How are you, dear? He took a deep breath before replying. Fine, Mom. Did you take your medicine on time? The lady from the other side was silent for some time before replying as yes. He nodded. How is Ryan now? The boy looked at the girl lying on the hospital bed. He held her hands and looked at her lovingly. Mom, it's okay, Jimin. Don't worry, honey. Our Ryan will wake up for us. For my prayer, the person gulped, not wanting to break down in front of his mom. Flashback of almost 1 year ago. The sky looks okay, but the uneasiness of the boy's heart is beyond description. A hand on his shoulder makes him out of his imagination of his best friend, Mrs. Park, thinking about Ryan. Jimin looked at his mom before nodding as yes. Mrs. Park smiled before caressing her son's hair. If you want, then talk to her now. Jimin was hesitant. Should he call her or not? Mrs. Park took her hands in her. Mrs. Park, you should talk to him if you want to remove your tension. Tension is not good for your heart. His mom comfort created a beautiful smile on his lips. He smiled before getting up. Jimin, I will be back in some moments, Mom. His mom assured him with a smile. A shaky word left from his mouth before tapping her number. He smiled at his mom before going a little away from her. He was biting his lips. Nervous? Maybe. In his whole damn life, it's the first time he would be away from her. While coming, she tried her best to make him understand that she should go with him. But how can he let her study affect for him? He doesn't know even what will he do there. How will he study? He can't let her feel the same. Ring, ring. 2 or 3 times it rang. Then, hello? He felt a sudden relief, sudden calmness. Her melodious voice is like kind of medicine for her tension. Jimin, what are you doing, Paul? Silence. The other side was silent, but her silence gave him the answer. She is still crying. She is still crying, still cause when he was going out, he saw her tearful eyes. He gulped down his lump. When not breaking down in front of her, seeing his only best friend forever, his soulmate, his life, who is very precious after his mom, is crying. Flashback, when he was packing his stuff. Silently, the girl was just staring at his doing with her most saddest eyes. Her heart is excretant. Sorry, I changed the bedroom. Flashback. She wanted to stop him, but she could not. It's about his mother, in which sense she would stop him. Her eyes were glistening, but all she could do only to watch him packing stuff while clutching the hem of her dress in her small fist. On the other hand, he knew she was sad. But he didn't dare to look into her eyes, cause he would just take a glance of her. She could not control herself. He was aware of that, and he was not in any different state now. How he wished to finish his study here with her and would go to his mom and live like before. But maybe fate. Taking a long breath, after packing everything, he took his bag and put it down on the floor. Slowly he looked up to see her blinking away her tears. He knew this would happen. No matter if they talk or not, they never stayed away from each other since childhood. She was staring at the floor to hide those unshed tears until a strong arm pulled her in an embrace. None of them talked, but their hearts are talking. Slowly wrapping her little hands around his torso, she hid herself more in his chest, letting his touch soft with her tears. He too didn't care about it, just holding her close, as if many things to say, but no one could find words to express. He put his chin on her head, hugging her tight as if he wanted to cage her. He was trying hard not to cry, but he is a human too, right? Don't know how long after a couple of times he slowly pulled out from his grip. Her eyes were swollen, nose were red, and she was still sobbing, but she didn't know it's tearing someone's heart apart. He held her chin gently and made her look at him with her teary eyes, but he could not show her how much he was feeling. Just within some hours he cupped her both cheeks with his soft hands and wiped those tears. He shook his head as no, not to cry. He could not say anything, as if he lost his voice. He slowly left her cheeks, making her panic. She immediately held her hand with the help of both her hands. She was continuously shaking as now, indicating not to go. His eyes were tearing apart, and there you go. He dropped the bag and hugged her, crying his heart out. Demon, no, I won't go anywhere, I won't. Ryan, she looked at him who was looking so broken. Demon, are you okay? I'm calling you since 2 minutes. Ryan, in thought. Means it was my dream. Slightly chuckled. I can be selfish. I have to let you go, Mochi. Looking at him with a faint smile, she slowly came closer to him. Maybe there is few inches away. He didn't go backward, but definitely his body reacted. Why? He wanted to think, but suddenly she hugged his neck, burying her face in his neck. He could feel her warmth against his body. Their hearts are beating fast. Why so? Slowly he encircled her waist, pulling her more closer. Both closed their eyes, if both wanted to feel the moment. After some time, he broke the hug. Released her from his embrace. She saw him, how hard he was trying to not to look at her. He took his bag and didn't wait for a second before leaving the home. She smiled, taking so much pain in his heart. 2 drops of tears rolled down, and Ryan, be safe, baby. He can feel her crying. Both didn't say anything for a while until he decided to break the trance of silence. Jemin, I will say, but she wasn't feeling well hearing this. Why? Maybe she was overthinking. She should be positive. His voice came as whisper. He can feel she is breathing slowly. Jemin, please Don't worry. He felt difficult in talking. Isn't it obvious? Why? I'm fine. She knew if she showed her sadness, maybe he won't be concentrate on his work. She didn't want him to worry about her and make things difficult. Silence. Jimin, I know you. Both were calm. She closed her eyes and was trying her best to control her emotion, to control those unshed tears. She was biting her lips. Still, some tears rolled down. No one talked for some minutes, but he can hear her sniffing. It really hurts. He made his face and dig his nails deep in his palm. He just wants to, but he is in between too. He closed his eyes in anger, pain, frustration. Why everything happens with him only? But her voice broke the chain of his thought. Ryan, I will wait for you. Will you come back? Her voice is shaky. She is afraid quadruple. Her face is full with dry tears. Longing. The hope is clearly seen in her voice. He really didn't know what to answer. He looked outside the long window for some time and Janan, promise me you will wait. After a long time, a smile crept on his lips. Ryan, I promise. But why she is not feeling happy hearing him? Shrugging her thought, she tried to smile when Jimin, I don't want to leave you today. I'm afraid, Princess. He finally said his fear. An unknown anxiety took over her heart. No. It must be because of their departure. She took a deep breath to calm her down fast. She can't let her anxiety take over her heart. Ryan, relax, Jim. It's okay. Why are you afraid? Whenever you feel down, call me immediately. I'm always at your service, sir. She said jokingly, and he just smiled. And a flashback. His heart is still wounded, remembering the day. His heart felt heavy. Eyes became closing. He wept with the back of his hands. He looked at his intertwining finger with her small one. He lovingly rubbed her palm. Lips became in a thin line. He kissed on her hands. His eyes went to her pale face. The oxygen mask is covering her nose. When close to her face, he felt like as if it had been the only thing he wanted to watch till the end. Slowly he put his hand on her chest. He can feel the heartbeat. Closing his eyes, he laid there. He felt like it's the best place to stay for now. After some time, he started talking. German, please wake up. It's been 6 months. I don't think that I can make it for. His cracked voice stopped in the middle. Tears rolled down from the corner of his eyes, making her dress wet. German, you can't leave me. You promised me, please. His whispering voice was heard in the room. Jimin, if I would inform you that day, then Then maybe you would be alive. Are you perhaps punishing me for this? Am I that bad? Please, I request you, please. He could not say more. Already he was crying silently, but little did he notice some movement were shown while he was crying. Someone's corner of eyes also got wet. That's when a frown was visible. When he looked up, he was shocked, more like surprised. He just could not believe what he was witnessing. His eyelids were moving and her sunburned up face was wet a bit. He was frozen. Tears welled up in happiness, but when he comes to his senses, he kissed her whole face and Jimin, baby, are you okay? He checked everywhere if she was feeling any pain. He rushed outside to call the doctor. After some time, the doctor and a nurse came. Though she showed her movement, but eyes were closed. The doctor was happy too. After 6 months, she gained her consciousness. The doctor was checking while Jimin was standing there beside, being extremely happy that he can't describe in words. He just can't stop his smile and tears of joy. On the other hand, she was blinking her closed eyes, little by little. Jimin went to her and caressed her hair and held hands. Love was only seen in those eyes. Doctor, Miss Wine, can you hear me? She frowned her forehead, slowly tried to open her eyes. But after a long time, that direct light went on her eyes, causing her close those eyes again. Jimin became worried. Doctor noticed his tension. Doctor, Mr. Park, there is nothing to worry. She saw the light after 6 months. Naturally, comatose patients react like this when they got up from coma. They can't endure the light suddenly. Don't worry, Jimin sighed in relief. Doctor, Miss Wyan, try to open your eyes slowly. She tried what doctor told her while he was holding her hands. Slowly, she tried to adjust with the light of the room. And there's the boy's happiness knows no bound. She felt blurry wherever she was looking. She still didn't notice who was standing beside her. She tried to sit when lying. A groan left from her mouth. She was bounded with many words. Jimmy, slowly, wait, let me help you. She felt a familiar voice. She looked at the face. For some time, he felt nervous under her stare. He bit his lips. She indicated her head to come to her as she was weak. She didn't want to speak, maybe. He did what she said. He went close to her face. She titled her head and was just looking at his nervous face. Dr. Fake coughed. Jimmy stood straight, being embarrassed. Wyan looked away. Doctor, Miss Wyan, are you feeling any pain in your body? Wyan shook his head no. Doctor, fine. Take rest. I will come to check after some time, okay? Wyan nodded a little. Doctor left with a smile. There is an awkward silence, Auntie Jimin. Do you need something? Now she looked at him with her doe eyes, signing him to come closer as he did. She took her hands near his face as he closed his eyes. Feeling the touch, she was touching his whole face. Ryan, I missed you, Mochi. Her whisper blew a shaky feeling in his heart. He was eagerly waiting to hear the voice for a long time. Jimin, me too, he said and opened his eyes to look to her hazel one. Ryan, where were you? These 6 months. Everyone said we are now. Her voice cracked. He hugged her, trying not to hurt her. Jimin, it's okay. His shirt started to wet by some tears. He was rubbing her back. Jimin, shh, please don't cry. Your health needs rest. He was worried crying will make her health worse. He was continuously rubbing her back. After some time, she got normal. She pulled out, but looking cute. Puffy cheeks, a cute pout. He smiled. Jimin, are you hungry? Do you need anything to eat? She shook his no. In no time, Ryan, a familiar voice made them look at her. The girl was excited. 1, 2 smiled. Ryan, Jessica? Jessica came and hugged her, making her yelp. Ryan, ouch. Jimin, what the hell? He yelled. A little, looked at Jessica with an angry expression. Jessica hurriedly broke the hug and Jessica, sorry, whiny. Are you okay? Jimin, how will she be okay if you hug her tight? His voice is cold. His face didn't seem normal after watching Jessica do. Ryan, why are you scolding her? I am alright, okay? Come, my bestie. Jimin rolled his eyes. Jessica tried to smile. Jimin, I am going outside. Call me if you need anything. He went out without letting her say anything. Ryan frowned at her behavior, but Jessica, tell me, how are you feeling now? Better? Ryan, yes, I am okay. Jessica, stupid. You scared us to death. Who jumped like this? Ryan's face became pale, hearing it. Jessica noticed. Jessica, Minjun went to take Helen from her apartment as it's off day in the city, so not much vehicles here. You know, as we got to know from hospital that you were awake, I immediately came and informed Minjun to come early after picking up Helen. Ryan smiled and nodded. Both did that, but Jessica didn't tell her about being her in coma. Time skipped at lunchtime. Jim's mom started to open lunchbox which she brought for her son and Ryan. Yes, she can walk now. After hearing from Jimmy, she hurriedly made Ryan's favorite dish. She was so happy that Ryan woke up. Ryan was happy to see her walking again, while Jimmy is helping his mother to save lunch for them. Jimin's mom, see my baby? I cooked your favorite japchae. You love it, right?
Then Kimchi, "Hey, you idiot," to Jimin. "Keep that towel on the bed. I wanna feed my daughter." Jimin looked at his mother in disbelief, while Wayne smiled cheekily. "Jimin, am I really your son or you adopted me?" Jimin's mom, "Of course. I was once walking in a park with your dad and doing something naughty and..." She shyly said it. Suddenly, he saw a baby without clothes, who ran there a moment. Jimmy's mom, "We felt sad, and so now you are here in front of me," she said, shrugging shoulder. Jimmy looked at her like, "Are you for real?" Jimmy's mom, "I know I look so beautiful still, but I'm your mother, so you got no chance." Jimmy, "You are just crazy," he said, making Ryan laugh hysterically. Everyone had lunch like this. After this, Jimmy went with his mom to drop her home and told Ryan to call him for anything and he would be back early. Jimmy's mom told him no need to drop her, but Ryan and Jimmy insisted. Jimmy took out a phone and gave it to Ryan. Ryan looked at him confused. "Jimmy, this is the phone. I saved my number in it. Call me anytime you need it, okay?" he said before leaving. Ryan nodded, understanding his care. Deep inside, she was feeling an unknown happiness. Now in hospital, Ryan now lazily sitting on bed while the nurse is checking her. "Nurse, miss, we're so lucky." Ryan looked at her with frown. "Ryan, means?" Nurse gave her a little smile. "Nurse, the person Mr. Park loves you so much, miss." Ryan was amazed hearing it. A pink shade came across her face. Ryan, mean? Nurse smiled a little, watching her face. "Nurse, you won't believe he stayed awake almost every night in those 6 months. Ryan frowned. 6 months? What does it mean? Means she was in coma for 6 months? Why no one said this to her? She thought. "Nurse, I hope everyone gets a caring and loving husband like you." Everyone saw how he was crying and begging you to get up from coma. Everyone felt pity on him. Her heart sank, even his miserable state. She surely noticed how pale he became. He had dark circle around her eyes, but he was crying every day for her. She felt like her heart was tearing apart. She looked down. "Okay, miss, I'm going. And here is a ring in a stand. Just press the ring and we will be healed." Ryan nodded with a smile and nurse left. On the other hand, Ryan felt blood rushing through her face, remembering the word that nurse said a while ago, and also said too. But suddenly a thought clicked on her mind, making her frown. Time is kept at night. Here Ryan is in deep thought. While Ryan was preparing for her to sleep after feeding her supper, Jimmy noticed it. He sat on the in front of her, but she didn't notice as she was busy in her thought. But she clinched, feeling a hand on her shoulder. She looked at front to see Jimin already staring at her. "Jimin, what happened? What are you thinking so deeply?" Ryan was in confliction. Should she say it? Jimin, what's bothering you? Ryan looked at him and thinking whether to ask or not, but decided to say it. Cause this was making her restless, so it's better to calm her heart by asking. She was playing with her fingers, looking down when Jimin. Say your heart out, princess, he said, keeping hands on hers. She looked up and took a deep breath. Ryan, um, I, I have some questions, Jimin. What are these? Ryan, was I in coma for 6 months? Jimin was a bit MS, thinking, how does she know? Well, it's not a problem to say, right? But Ryan, tell me, Mochi. Jimin, yes, you were. After you fell from the rooftop, your head was badly injured and he stopped talking. Ryan, it's okay. Both were silent for some time. Both looked at different sides. Ryan, I heard you were crying when I was in coma. Jimin's eyes widened. He looked here and there, but not at her. Ryan, she was gawping at his soul. He gulped. Ryan, eyes on me, Mr. Park. Her voice were stern. He nervously looked at her. Her eyes had a mixture of emotion. He was unable to speak. Ryan, why did you cry? What would happen if something went go wrong with me and I died? Jimin, shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Do you know what the hell are you talking about, huh? Do you even know? Is it hurting someone or not? Actually, you never cared about me. Say whatever you want. Jimin yelled in one breath and was about to leave when a hand held his wrist tightly. He closed his eyes in anger. He jerked his hand and left the room. Ryan looked down. After 2 hours, the door knocked was squeaked as someone came in. He saw her already sleeping with a duet. He sighed and sat beside her sleeping figure. He started caressing her hair lovingly. Jimin, I'm sorry for yelling, princess, but you don't know how I felt when you talk about going away. Sorry. I feel like I would lost every reason to leave, but you don't know the 6 months. I felt so horrible without you. Every second I felt I was drowning into darkness. I didn't like anything at that time. You don't know even when I heard your accident He stopped saying and closed his eyes, remembering that day when someone informed him about the accident. His hands were shaking, mind gone black as if he could not think anything. As soon as he heard of the news, he came to Korea with his mom as doctors said she was much better now. He didn't notice when his face is getting wet. How would he live without her? He didn't notice his tears until he felt a soft touch on his cheeks, opening her eyes. He saw her looking at him with some kind of emotion. Jimin was taken aback. He didn't think her wet. Jimin, didn't you fall asleep? He was same position. Ryan smiled. Ryan, how can I? When I hurt my closest someone. Jimin was silent for a moment before replying. Jimin, sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Ryan smiled. Ryan, don't cry. I'm here. I'll never leave you. I pray to God. Jimin smiled slowly, caressing her cheeks. Suddenly, Wyan's word made his world crisp when she said, "Wyan, I love you." He was shocked, maybe. He looked at her with wide eyes. "Wyan, haha, why are you staring at me like this?" Jimin was still in shock that he could not just process what just happened a while ago. Wyan smiled and immediately leaned it and cracked his lips. His wide eyes got more widened. Before he could understand, she pulled out and laughed loud. "Jimin, what was that?" "Wyan, ha ha ha. Didn't you see? I confessed and kissed your lips." He was beyond shocked to utter a word. "Jimin, you love her?" "Wyan, Babu, you." "Jimin, are you okay?" Wyan pouted and encircled arms around his neck, this closeness making their both heart beat fast like a marathon. Jimin gulped, feeling his heart skipping beats. "Why?" Wyan asked. "Can't I love my baby, huh? And what about you? Don't you love me?" Jimin was silent. He didn't know what to say. He never believed in love, but his chain broke when Wyan, I know what you are thinking. None of us believed in love until I realized after your departure. You don't know how hard it was for me to live without you. Every second I felt you near me. I even imagined you beside me, feeding you with my hands. But when those bully of our college said you are no more, Jimin now hugged her, was pulling her closer. "Jimin, let's leave the past, baby. Forget that's all." Wyan, no, I also have to apologize for the time I ignored you for Jungkook. Jungkook, the person he hated the most. He clenched his jaw but decided to change the topic. "Jimin, miss, you really love me?" Wyan happily nodded like a kid. "Wyan, and I know you love me too, so say it back now." Jimin smiled. "I don't know what the love is, but today I want to say everything. Yes, I never liked any guy around you. I feel different when you are around me. I realized it when we were at the last stage of high school, but I shrugged it off, thinking maybe it happens between childhood best friends. When I was away from you, I cried every night. I cried for you. If it is love, then..." "Jimin, I love you too, Kang Wyan." Both were staring at each other as if everything is vague except them. Both were silent, but their bodies were feeling kind of sensation they can't describe. Suddenly, his eyes went on her lips. His Adam apple goes up and down, and even, "May I?" Wyan looked at the tenderness in his eyes, blood rushing through cheeks. She looked down shyly and nodded. Jimin chuckled before making her look at him with the help of her chin. "Jimin, don't be shy in front of your boyfriend, princess." Her already burning face became more hot. A pink shade was like natural blush. He smiled, seeing his affection on her, and in no time he linked his lips with her soft one. Thousands of butterflies were dancing in her stomach. The kiss was gentle, but as time passed, it became more passionate. He pulled her more closer to his chest. Both can feel each other's heartbeat. After some time, Joanna was gasping for air, so he had to pull out. Joining their forehead, both looked at each other's eyes. Ryan and Jimmy, I love you. Both chuckled together. 4 years spent like this. Now, Meg is fully recovered. They decided to take things slowly. Jimin and Ryan finally completed their studies. She and Jimin both start together. Though it's small now, but both are happy and decided to broaden it casually. As they are a little stable now, so they got ready to marry. This whole time, both stayed with each other. Ryan tried to ask him about JJ sometimes, but Jimin always changed his topic with any excuse. However, today they are happy because they got married. Not much guests were invited, only family members and some close friends, but still, Jimin didn't want them to come, but he was quite thinking about Ryan. But little did they know that they would get the biggest surprise from their mom.
All were working, but who can say that someone is trying to hide her unbearable pain with a big smile? Jimin and Ryan came to their mom. Ryan's mom blessed them both. Then they went to Jimin's mom. His mom's eyes motioned as if Jimin noticed it. Jimin, Mom, aren't you feeling well? His mother gave them a faint smile and hugged them both. Mrs. Park, I'm fine, my babies. She pulled out. She first looked at Ryan and kissed her forehead lovingly, then at his son. She kissed his forehead too, but it felt different. Then Mrs. Park took Jimin's hand in her. He looked at her. Mrs. Park, baby, I have always taught you not to misbehave with others, especially who is close one. And my baby Ryan, she is your wife. Never hurt her. And promise me you will try to be the best husband and best father in the future. Jimin didn't like the way his mother talked, because we say these kinds of talkings when we go far away from people.
Jimin, Mom, why are you talking like this? His mom caressed his hairs with so much love, seeing him with her heart out, because she knew this would be the last time she was talking and seeing her son. Only a mother can understand how does it feel when she had to leave her child, but she can't run his biggest day today. Mrs. Park, it's just because I became a bit emotional. You know, nothing else, sweetie. She smiled to make him and her daughter-in-law not to worry. Suddenly she hugged them both. Mrs. Park, remember my children, I'll always love you, baby.
Ryan or Jimin? Mom, please. We don't like to hear this. Jimin, you are talking like you leave us. You are really scaring me now. Jimin's mom thought, how can I say I have to go for my only child, baby? His mother tried to control her tears and looked at them. And Mrs. Park, haha, okay. Now go to your new house that I prepared. I'm sure you're gonna love it, and all the best for your first night. She said the last word as whisper with an ink. Ryan looked down being shy while Jimin just whined. Both smiled and bid goodbye and left for the new journey with the hopeless mother. Sneakily with those tears that should stop and still. She stared at them until they could disappear from her eyes. Mrs. Park, may God bless you with my child.
Jimmy sat there emotionless. Jimmy, Mom, the letter fell, and that's it. He became numb. To be continued.